Nathaniel Garrett Novosel, author of The Meaning of Life, and today we're here to talk about the core tenets of meaning. If you're here, you're probably wondering what the meaning of life is and how I came to understand it. Well, after over 20 years of studying psychology and human behavior, I asked myself whether I could summarize it all into a few principles that, if followed, could lead anyone to have a sense of purpose in their lives. I ran into a few interesting insights along the way. They could each be their own blog posts, but I'll summarize them here. First, most self-help books assume a purpose already. Usually, they assume you want to be rich, find a spouse, or to be healthy. Those are all great goals to have, and those books are great for people who have them. However, it doesn't help you figure out your goals. Second, most books on meaning conflate the origin of life, purpose of life, and ethics. I always joked about how this works with the statement, God created the universe, so you can't eat meat on Fridays. In my opinion, those concepts, goals, origin, and ethics, should be separated, or at least looked at as distinct things. Third, because of the previous two items, most books that claim to be focused on meaning and purpose are really focused on happiness, morals, values, or a specific goal. And as I mentioned, those aren't exactly the same thing, and the recommendations are usually what worked for the person or what you have to do to conform to a certain philosophy. Next, people are often in violent agreement over the same ideas. For example, monotheists argue over the nature of God, but agree that there is one. And conservatives and liberals both want the same things in terms of, better health for its citizens, better, freedom and love and wonderful, greater outcomes for citizens. But they disagree on the best way or rules to get there. Atheists and theists disagree on whether a creator created the universe, but they can have a similar morality. Both theists and atheists agree on things like don't kill people, don't steal from them. And so I wondered whether there was a way to find commonalities and remove those differences. Finally, could you really write a book on how to find meaning without prescribing how to live your life? From my years of research, in my opinion, no one has ever really tried. To be fair, authors are writing to be useful to their audience, and telling people what to do to achieve an outcome is the easiest way for them to take action on that advice. And once you recommend a course of action, your ethics get injected in those recommendations. It's impossible for them not to, as you wouldn't recommend that someone steal from someone else if you have an ethic that stealing is wrong. Given these factors, I decided to identify, define, and explain the universal principles that give people meaning in their lives. For that, I had to read hundreds of religious, philosophy, self-help, behavioral economics, and evolutionary psychology books to understand the common underlying recommendations and see how and why they worked. From that, I identified the 8 core tenets of meaning, which I'll contextualize and summarize here. Of course, for a full explanation and help mastering these concepts, please buy the book, The Meaning of Life, and it has all the details in there. First, growth. The meaning of life is growth. Every living organism grows, and that applies whether you're talking about the self-replication of the first living organisms to modern humans realizing their full potential. Every religion talks about spiritual growth and continuing to improve how to live in line with its teachings. Every self-help book talks about personal growth. Biology makes self-replication a defining characteristic of life. In the main ways that we are talking about meaning, life's definition, purpose, or significance, we see growth as the central component. Our most significant historical figures have been so because of their effect on the growth of society, for better or worse. And our most meaningful moments are all around either major life accomplishments or support of others in their endeavors. Second, experience. Experience is the medium through which life grows. Experience in this case is an organism exercising a thought, decision, or action over a period of time. All growth requires a life form to exist in a current state, desire a future state, and then have an experience that facilitates a transition from the current state to the future state. Everything we think, say, or do adds to our experience in life, and it's the result of those experiences that we are better off than we were before. The extent to which those experiences contribute to growth, happiness, or protection from harm will give them more meaning and significance. Every philosophy or piece of advice recommends or prescribes certain experiences to attain certain outcomes. Third, desire. Desire drives living things to have experiences that lead to growth. From primal drives for food, water, shelter, sleep, and sex, to broader desires for world peace, every desire is pushing the life form to make a decision or take an action toward a specific outcome. The more an outcome is desired, the more meaningful it will feel when it is attained. Note, for those of you wondering about people who desire bad things, it is only when a positive desire is combined with beliefs that harm must be involved to attain an outcome that the desire for something bad occurs. Like if you want money and then think, well, the only way for me to do that quickly is to steal from someone, then your belief is what is causing that desire to be negative. Which brings you to the fourth one, belief. Belief sustains an organism through adversity to achieve the desired outcome. All beliefs are based on a combination of what is real, that's knowledge, what is perceived, and what is desired. At a most fundamental level, life has meaning because you believe that it does. Meaning cannot exist without belief in that respect. Every philosophy that has ever existed establishes a set of beliefs, and then every recommendation ever given is because the person giving it believes that you will be better as a result of it. Fifth, emotions. Emotions are life's feedback mechanism that indicate your posture toward growth. Contrary to popular belief, it is not a goal, but an indicator. How you feel can be summarized as a simple formula. Emotions equal beliefs plus desires plus experiences. For example, if you experience someone having a relationship that you desire and you believe that you deserve it instead of them, you will feel jealous. Belief that you deserve it and they don't, you want that relationship, you're experiencing seeing that other person in the relationship that you want, you are jealous. If you experience a concert that you really wanted to attend and believe that it is as good as you expected, you feel elated. Now, philosophies differ greatly on how you should treat your emotions. In other words, you should suppress them, you should listen to them, you should ignore them, you should follow them. But they all understand how important your emotional state is to your ability to carry on. Emotions are critical to meaning because you will know if you are living purposefully, if your life feels meaningful. Sixth, ethics. Ethics are the rules that life follows to live cooperatively with other organisms. The goal of ethics is for social animals to be able to live together without hurting each other. Every philosophy recommends a set of ethics because they need to explain how to live life most effectively in a group. Ethics are important to meaning because outcomes attained unethically do not have the same sense of significance and reward. Examples of accomplishments that are robbed of meaning due to unethical behavior include cheating to win or defrauding someone to obtain money. Seventh, support. Support is the other component of living cooperatively with other organisms that goes beyond not hurting them to actually helping them. Support is what you might call a growth multiplier, in that it allows someone to achieve more than they could on their own. Every religion and philosophy recommends helping others, and service is usually highlighted as the highest good or the key to find meaning. Support is necessary for greater meaning because meaning, that type of meaning, by definition, is beyond oneself. If you want to contribute to more than just your own growth, you have to help others grow too. Eighth, choice. Choice is life's ability to choose from many different options for how to proceed. Choice is critical to meaning because agency allows people to pursue their desires and attain them. People who have their choice taken away from them, such as prisoners or people who feel like prisoners, such as the elderly in restrictive nursing homes, lose their sense of purpose. The reason why any philosophy exists is to influence your thoughts, decisions, and actions toward goals that you, or the author's purveyors, want you to achieve. If you want to feel a sense of purpose in life, choose a purpose and take actions toward realizing it. So, those are the 8 core tenets of meaning. How on earth did I come to understand those tenets? Well, I've read hundreds of books on this topic from many different angles. I started to notice the commonalities, the differences, and the fallacies. But as I was documenting these core principles, I validated them in the most unusual way. I thought back to some of my favorite teenage coming-of-age films. Strangely, the one that kept I kept thinking about was Airborne, a 1993 film that played on TV a lot in the 1990s about a California surfer turned rollerblader. But you're welcome to pick more popular ones like The Karate Kid or Vision Quest or whatever. And I noticed that they all had the same plot. I mean, seriously, literally, you can watch them. They all have the exact same plot. We're introduced to someone who wants something more from their lives, to have a better life and to be better than they are now, aka growth. Second, that protagonist finds something that he wants and what he needs to do to attain it, aka desire and experience. Third, he is discouraged or faces obstacles, but has a mentor to sustain his belief until he reaches the big championship competition event. Belief. He knows what he wants to do because he feels great when he does it and miserable without it. Emotions. Unlike his competition, he learns to do things the right way to win. Ethics. And often his competition is cheating in some way to prevent him from succeeding. Not ethics. He has help from his friends, family, or a mentor. That's support. And finally, he makes the choice to pursue the opportunity and continue no matter what happens to him along the way, aka choice. And again, you can apply anything, any of those movies to it. So, Karate Kid, he meets Elizabeth Shue and, falls in love and, and wants to have that relationship and doesn't want to, and he's getting beat up. And so, he has to, learn karate to defend himself and feel good about himself and prove himself as a worthy person and all that other fun stuff. He has Mr. Miyagi in that movie, so he has support. He does things the right way. Obviously, Cobra Kai was sweeping the leg and committing fouls that were against the rules of the competition. He obviously felt bad when he was getting beat up. He felt great when he was succeeding. He learned to have, manage and balance his emotions through the Miyagi-Do and things and the training, and then chose to stick with it even though he kept trying to get out of it and saying, it wasn't right for him or whatever, or that he wanted to move back. I think it was with Jersey or whatever. And so, all of those movies follow that structure. And yeah, so these movies are probably full of cliches and are probably a little corny or hokey, but the writers know that they need to include these elements or the audience will either not believe the story or will not feel the payoff at the end when the protagonist succeeds. All of those elements are required, all 8 of them, for growth to have occurred and for you to feel good about what was attained at the end of the film. The goal cannot just be handed to them. They have to really want it. They have to be better at the end than they were at the beginning. They have to truly learn to believe in themselves. They have to win the right way. You don't root for the heel of the movie or the antagonist of the movie. You have to struggle and only get through with the support you get from your parents or your friends or your teachers or your mentors or your trainers or your senseis in the case of Karate Kid. And you have to choose to keep going no matter what, even when you face adversity. If any of those elements are not there, the audience would not feel satisfied with the hero's journey they saw on screen. And that's why that formula, while you might think it's cliche, are actually the essential elements for an interesting, coming of age film, because you have to have all of those things for you to quote unquote come of age, to find your meaning in life, to live your purpose, to succeed, to grow, to be a better person in life. And it's no different from real life. You need to find your growth areas that you want to pursue, whether it's karate or wrestling or surfing or rollerblading or, running a marathon or being a CEO or whatever it is. You have to find the experiences that help you achieve that growth. You have to believe that you can do them or you won't. You have to do them the right way or they won't be rewarding. You have to get help or you won't reach your full potential. And you have to continue every day to choose to strive toward them instead of giving up. This is the formula for a meaningful, successful life. Those are the 8 core tenets of meaning. And every philosophy or journey has these components. And you can find your own meaning if you understand and master them for your own life.